We served for the sake of Allah and await our reward in the eternal life.
Mimar Sinan, the greatest architect of all time, the genius of the Ottoman Empire who defied the centuries. The most renowned Turkish builder, Mimar Sinan, was born on the 29th of May, 1489, in the village of Ahurnas near Kayseri. He passed away on the 9th of April, 1588, in Istanbul. He is also known by many names: Koca Mimar Sinan Ala, Sinedin Yusuf, and Abdülminanoğlu Sinan. Sinan, the towering figure of Ottoman architecture, became the symbol of the 16th century, an era now known as the Classical Ottoman period. Throughout his lifetime, he designed, supervised, and built nearly 400 structures. During breaks between military campaigns, he studied monuments from different cultures, continuously refining his craft. Koca Sinan, born in the village of Ahurnas in Kayseri, with his exact birth date unknown, was a Christian boy recruited during the reign of Selim the Grim around 1512 or 1513. He was selected for the Janissary Corps. In the year 1538, he was appointed chief architect, a position he held for 50 years. Starting in 1539, Sinan served as the imperial court architect under Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, creating masterpieces until his death in 1588. According to various sources, he was involved in as many as 400 projects. Mainly in Istanbul, but also across Anatolia and the European territories of the empire, Sinan built mosques, mesjids, madrasas, Quran schools, mausoleums, public kitchens, aqueducts, bridges, caravanserais, and public baths, structures of many types and purposes. Of course, given the immense scale of his work, he couldn't have physically built them all. It is believed that he created the architectural plans, conducted engineering calculations, and oversaw projects carried out by his students. His legacy stretched from Bosnia to Baghdad, from Crimea to Yemen.
Sinan was brought to Istanbul as part of the devshirme system under Selim the Grim in 1512. Bright and energetic, he was selected for training. He first served in the provinces, then joined the corps of novice boys, and eventually the elite janissaries. Fascinated by architecture, he dreamed of building aqueducts in gardens and arches in courtyards. He worked under prominent masters of his time, helping to construct caravanserais, fountains, and tombs. Sinan took part in many military campaigns. He joined the campaign of Chaldiran in 1514 and the Egyptian expedition in 1517. Under Suleiman the lawgiver, he became a full-fledged janissary, participating in the campaigns of Belgrade in 1521 and Rhodes in 1522, rising to the rank of horseman guard. After the Battle of Mohacs in 1526, he joined expeditions to Austria in 1532 and to Tabriz and Baghdad in 1534. His skills earned him the honorary title of haseki. During the campaign in Baghdad, he suggested placing cannons on transport galleys crossing Lake Van, an idea that impressed the Sultan. He later participated in the military expeditions to Corfu, Apulia in 1537, and Moldavia in 1538. In Moldavia, he built a bridge across the Prut River in just 13 days, an achievement that earned him great praise from Suleiman the Magnificent. Traveling with the army, Sinan saw Syria, Egypt, Iraq, Iran, the Balkans, and southern Europe up to Vienna, learning from ancient monuments and gaining inspiration. In Istanbul, he became acquainted with leading architects of the time, including Hayreddin, the builder of the Bayezid Mosque. In the year 1538, Sinan was officially named Chief Architect, or Mimar Bashi. Even before this appointment, he had created 3 remarkable works: the Husreviye complex in Aleppo, the Koban Mustafa Pasha complex in Gebze, and the Haseki complex in Istanbul, commissioned by Hürrem Sultan. 3 masterpieces created in his early years as Mimar Bashi marked milestones in his career. The first was the Shehzade Mosque and its Kuliye, a large complex that included a public kitchen, guest house, caravanserai, and madrasa, separated by a street. However, his grandest work in Istanbul was the Suleymaniye Mosque. Its enormous dome, 27 meters in diameter, rests on a structure that rises from the earth with remarkable balance and grace. With its noble and restrained elegance, the Suleymaniye reflects peace and magnificence, a true marvel of architecture. The Suleymaniye complex, with its 8 buildings, became the second great educational center of Istanbul after the Fatih Mosque. Although the Shehzade Mosque, built between 1543 and 1548, was considered his first work in Istanbul, his actual creation was the Husreviye Mosque in Aleppo, constructed between 1536 and 1537.
For his success in building the Suleymaniye Mosque, which Sinan himself called the work of a master and his masterpiece, he was awarded the honorary title Koça, meaning great or magnificent. Throughout his life, Sinan built aqueducts, fountains, mosques, religious complexes, and madrasas in cities across Anatolia, including Istanbul, Edirne, Ankara, Kayseri, Erzurum, Manisa, Bolu, Çorum, and Kütahya, as well as in the broader Ottoman territories such as Aleppo, Damascus, and Buda. He constructed his masterwork, the Suleymaniye Mosque in Edirne, at the age of 85. One of Sinan's final creations was the Kaptan İderiye Piala Pasha Mosque in the Kasımpaşa district, completed in the year 1573. In this structure, he returned to the plan of the great early mosques, blending the features of the early Ottoman style with the accumulated experience of a long and brilliant career. Solving the problem of semidomes. The Shehzade Mosque, commissioned by Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent in memory of his son Mehmed, the Sanjak Bey of Saruhan, who died at the age of 22, was built in the district bearing the same name between the years 1543 and 1548. In the Shehzade Mosque, which Sinan referred to as his apprentice work, he first solved the architectural challenge of supporting semidomes, creating a structure with 4 of them. This square-planned mosque, the first with a double axis of symmetry, is covered by a large central semi-spherical dome and 4 semidomes placed on each side. All the domes rest on 4 massive, elephant feet pillars. As in Sinan's other works, the decorative style is marked by restraint and elegance. The mosque's large outer courtyard has 6 gates, 2 pairs of slender minarets, each with 2 sherefe, or balconies, flank the main entrance. This detail remains one of the mosque's most striking features. The complex also includes an imaret, or soup kitchen, madrasa, tabhana, or guest house, and turbe, or mausoleum. Earthquake-resistant marvel. The Suleymaniye complex, one of the greatest monuments of Ottoman architecture, has withstood more than 100 earthquakes in Istanbul without sustaining damage. The Suleymaniye Mosque, commissioned by Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent and built between 1551 and 1557, rises to a height of 53 meters. Its enormous dome, with a diameter of 27.5 meters, is supported by semidomes, much like the Hagia Sophia. The courtyard is surrounded by 4 minarets of varying heights. 2 on the northern side, each have 2 sherefe and reach a height of 56 meters. The other 2, directly adjoining the mosque, are 76 meters tall and have 3 sherefe each. According to Sinan's calculations, the drum of the central dome includes 32 windows, ensuring ideal natural lighting. Sinan also calculated the airflows inside the mosque, which collected soot from oil lamps into a special room above the main entrance. That soot was later used to make ink, which calligraphers used to decorate the interiors. The courtyard is encircled by 28 arched galleries, or ravaks. At the center of the rectangular courtyard stands the shadurvan, a fountain used for ritual ablution. The mausoleums of Suleiman the Magnificent and his wife, Hürrem Sultan, are located in the outer courtyard of the mosque.
Sinan's engineering genius. As researchers note, Sinan never placed a single stone without precise calculation. Everything you see here has been mathematically reasoned, one historian of architecture explains. Sinan understood soil mechanics and earthquake resistance. He even heated his mosques from beneath the floor. The Suleymaniye includes a soot collection chamber. People often ask me about it. I reply, I can't explain it. I know where it is, I know its shape. Past generations simply said, here's the soot room. The soot was collected here and turned into ink. The lamps burned all across the mosque. But how did the soot end up only there? Why wasn't the rest of the mosque blackened? I'm still studying this mystery. It contains an entire hidden science. The master of domes. In Sinan's architecture, domes were used both as single vaults and in complex combinations with semidomes, depending on the size of the space. Even early in his career, Sinan developed a flawless load-bearing system, a synthesis of the main dome, arches, pendentives, and semidomes. The structural behavior of this monolithic system under load is extremely complex. Understanding how it functions requires modern computer modeling. For this research, engineers used the SAP 2000 structural analysis program. They analyzed how the roofing systems of Sinan's mosques responded to their own weight. The study included mosques with square bases, such as Mihrimah Sultan in Edirnekepe, Suleymaniye, Mihrimah Sultan in Üsküdar, and Şehzade Mehmed, as well as those with hexagonal, Kara Ahmet Pasha, Sokolu Mehmet Pasha in Kadirga, and octagonal bases, Sokolu Mehmet Pasha in Azakapi and Selimiye. To ensure accurate calculations,
the digital models only included the parts of the building above the point where the arches meet the supporting columns. The results revealed the structural interplay between the main dome, arches, semidomes, and pendentives, and numerically mapped out the behavior of each system. It was determined that buildings with hexagonal and octagonal support systems were safer in terms of stress distribution and deformation.